Just a brief about our upcoming events. We ASSP Kuwait chapter organizing GCC Excellence Award every year, and we are planning this year. Already we launched the program, and from this platform, I would like to request each and every participants who is working here in GCC countries to participate and make success this event. Uh, More details in between of today's event, our executive, Mr. Rishi, will present on this one. The another upcoming event, we had already planned one training on BOHS W505, that is scheduled on 21st of May. One more event we are planning, already a message has been circulated to among all our members, that certified lead auditor training for ISO 14001 environmental management system. I would like to welcome our today's both speaker, Mr. Jim Bennett and Mr. Balaji Loganathan. Thank you very much, sir. Welcome, and over to you, Ramanna. Thank you, sir. Ramanna?
Sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, Ji, sorry.
Yes, Ramanna,
Okay.
please go ahead, Ramanna.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, all. As our president is already informed about the agenda, we will be having two presentations, a case study and another presentation on artificial intelligence.
Okay, Ramana, let me take over the proceedings from here.
Yes,
so,
okay.
Good evening, everyone. If you are somewhere in that part of the world, and maybe some people, for some of you, it is good morning. Nonetheless, you are very much welcome on this platform. And let me just give a very quick background, or rather, I would say that purpose of this platform, if you have been, joining it already since last few, this one, or from beginning, you already know that. But for those of you who are new, here, as it says, that it is Process Safety Management Specialty Group of Kuwait chapter of American Society for Safety Professionals. Now, this is, although sponsored by and supported by the Kuwait chapter, however, over the months, over the last 2 years since the time this specialty group has been in existence, we have got participation from all over the world. In fact, the last month, there was somebody from Malaysia, some people, and there was someone, or there were some people from South America, Argentina, and everywhere in between. You say North America, Europe, Africa, Middle East, Asia, everywhere people, interested people, they were there. And even until the end, they stayed with the meeting. Now, why we are having this is that we want to, present a platform which is easily accessible to anyone without paying any money, but all what is required from their part is some interest. Now, our interest group is not only excuse me, people who are PSM special sorry. So our interest is not only, well, let me assure you, it is not COVID. So our interest is not only people who are specialists, but also many of us, we are all learners. Someone who is a construction safety professional, or someone who is even environmental guy and wants to know, wants to expand, explore what are the fields, and welcome, come and join. All you need is possibly 90 minutes of your time every month. And then it is up to you. You want to expand further. So how do we learn? We learn, of course, we learn by text, we learn by, doing things, etc. But when we learn of failures, it gives us that delta that made the difference between success and failure. And possibly that's a good point to start. If we see an accident, for instance, a road accident, and we immediately start thinking, what? Brake was not good. Means what? We start talking of that delta, that everything was fine, that vehicle was having a, registration plate and it was inspected, and driver, since he was driving, we expect that he must be having driver's license. Everything was in place. What happened? Okay, let's find out that delta. And we start learning from there. And our reaction is that, okay, maybe brake was not good, maybe there was problem with the road, or etc., etc. So that is what we thought, that let's focus on that. And with that, I again request everyone out here, and through you others out there, that let us focus on the presentations, short presentations about failures, about our personal failures. It is very important to, it takes, I know it takes courage to admit that I failed, but also to tell that, okay, how I negotiated that failure, or possibly I couldn't. So these are the things. And the larger purpose of this group is to provide you a platform for interaction, for networking, for knowing each other. Now, possibly okay, Dr. Siva Prasad, he is a veteran and he is available here. Can we talk to him in separately, privately? Can I talk to Jim? Can I talk to Muruganandan? Can I talk to, okay, this guy, maybe Balaji Lognathan, he's talking about artificial intelligence. Can I talk to him and, make some knowledge, my knowledge even sharper? So this is what is this platform about. Not for doing, taking further time on this, because I know you are waiting for the speakers. So I would move on to request Jim Bennett, as just now some of you may be hearing. I know him, or rather we know each other since many years, maybe 15 years, I don't know, even more. And I know his prowess, his he is very profoundly experienced and a very good trainer. That's very important. So I'm quite sure he is going to, tell us, and he will be, we will be having benefit of his presence. And I hope he will continue with us even in our future, events. So Jim, it's your time now. Do you have the access? You can, do the screen share?
Yeah, I have indeed. Yeah, hopefully I'll be
Great.
well.
Go ahead, Jim.
Could you enable me, please?
Ramana?
Yeah, it's done. It's enabled.
Enabled. Okay. Is it possible to share the presentation I have on my computer?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you very much. Then. If you bear with me just for a second or two, everyone, and we'll be with you just in a second. Here we go. Take that one down. Right, so a warm welcome to everyone. It's great to be back with you again. And what I'd like to do is share some of my insights, particularly about this case study of Buncefield. I was initially involved with some feedback on the firefighting aspects of it, of foam. But what I'd like to do with this case study is take it forward. Yes, it was here a number of years ago, but we're moving forward. I'd like to link it, as you had with your last presentation, we were talking about Texas City. I'd like to take you forward to Grenfell, the disaster as well, and show the linkages to that, particularly from human factors, and then moving forward to the built environment, where in fact process safety major accident hazards take us to the principles. So let's start off, have a look of Buncefield. It's in this, or in at the bottom of England. As we see, it's centrally based, it's a hub, and we've got packets of fuel that comes to Buncefield. And as we can see, it's located next to London, and it's also close to Heathrow and Gatwick. And that has quite a difference, an impact when we actually see this. Can you hear me okay?
Excuse me, it's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm disturbing you.
No,
Are you
okay.
Are you showing presentation?
Yes.
It's not visible. Could you please check it again?
Oh, okay. Let me come out of this. Stop video, share screen. Stop one. Share. Can you see the screen
Yes.
just now?
Yes, it's fine now.
You're fine.
Just go to preview.
Oh, I'm busy going here, getting wound up, and you're not seeing anything.
Yeah,
okay, that's fine. A
Go to
slideshow, a presenter. Here we go. Can you see this now?
Yes,
folks?
it's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me
Thank
take
you.
that out of the road. You're okay. Right, we can see the, if you can see England there, we in the center, we've got Buncefield located here, and we've got all the feeds coming in. Fuel packets are delivered to Buncefield. Part of its role is supplying aviation fuel to Heathrow as well, and there's another link that goes down to Heathrow, similarly down to Walton site. So what I'd like to do is link this, where are we now? Share. Okay. Fine. So what I'd like to do is give you a sense of what actually happened. Then I'd like to look at it from a barrier principle perspective, a bow tie. As we can see here, the parcel of leaded fuel was coming through, and tank 912 is located round about here in the center. And that would be about, as we see here, about 0500 in the morning. And I reckon round about 5:37, 5:20, it started to come over. What actually was happening here was the fuel, the feed coming through was going to 2 different tanks, and it overfilled. We had a vapor cloud, and what happened here was vapor was coming over. It was just like mist, and it ignited. The first they were aware about it, there was neighbours in the vicinity had seen this rolling cloud coming through. It then ignited. A massive explosion, and we'll come to that in a moment or two. No fatalities, we see the injuries there. 2 things, the 2 main things we're here to learn about, particularly from a human factors, about the environment, the delta that we were talking about here. What was the difference that made a difference? Failure of the automatic tank gauging system, and the high level switch is what we're looking at here. And this site had the consent to store 94,000 tons of hydrocarbons, and it supplied 8% of the fuel to the UK. So looking forward, as we can see here, this is what it looked like at the time. Massive height, 3,000 meters high, tremendous impact environment. And it headed towards Heathrow Airport, and it headed across the English Channel. Major disruption to aviation as well, flying. And this was the site afterwards. 23 large, as we see there, burned for 5 days and over the bottom. But tank 912, which we've seen here, the difference, this was in the kind of winter time, and part of the batch coming through had a 10% butane within it that helps really with having that. There was over 300 tons of petrol released from the tank roof. The vapor flowed over the 2-meter buns, and the bang, the explosion that came from there was 2.4 on the Richter scale. It was heard 28 miles or 45 kilometers away in London. And the interesting thing, the environmental impact, particularly with this, we can see there's quite a lot of foam around. What actually happened there was it went down into the substrata, and it went down into the rock base, and there was an aquifer that feeds drinking water to London as well. So that was one of the other key aspects of that within it. And the firefighting, as we say, the firefighting foam, there was 32,000 litres of it within there. And what they had been doing, they'd been pumping for over 4 hours, and then they reduced it to, they were left with 20 fires still running in it. What I'd like to now is move forward and look at from a bow tie. You may be familiar with the bow tie concepts. My background is working both onshore and offshore, and a key aspect of controlling major accident hazards from a process safety perspective offshore is a bow tie analysis, looking at all the various top events, the potential top events we've got. And hazards, as we've got here, is petroleum spirit, basically under pressure, and we look at the threat, the initiating event. As we were familiar, we've got the various barriers or controls that we have within here. The escalation factor is the delta factor. What is the thing? What is the potential thing that could happen differently? And what can we put in place if it's foreseeable, particularly from human factors engineering? What can we put in place to actually help us or give us an early warning that's actually happening? And I guess across the years, one of the things close to my heart is people, people, people. And as we were saying earlier, what do we learn from this? What do we take from this? And it's been able to recognize, I say, within ourselves, within our organization, things if they're not quite right. Who do I speak to? Who is the technical authority? Who's the person? Who's my supervisor? Who's my manager? Who's the person that can help me? Or the person adjacent to me? As a process operator and being on plants, one of the things I've found, I've got, you probably see here, I've got the ear muffs on just now, but it's our senses that give us knowledge of what's happening. What is the delta? What's the thing? What's that vibration? What's that smell? What's this potential escalation factor that's happening? So what are we looking for within here? We're looking at critical equipment. It's part of the other outputs we're looking for here. Safety critical elements, the wider scope, and the safety critical equipment, particularly looking at performance standards, functionality, availability, reliability, survivability, and how it's interconnectivity. What's the puzzle piece? How do they fit into the whole to make sure we're working with their safe operating envelopes within it? What are the activities, the human tasks, the people tasks, to make sure we've got the integrity of all equipment controls within there, and who does it and when, and to what standard, what What's our level of competency within there? Do we know what our level of competency is? And over the years, I like to think about competency of someone who knows what they don't know. What's the delta? What's the difference? The thing that I don't know. Where can I get information to get more data on it? Or who do I need to speak to? So the hypothetical bow tie we have here, and then we'll get into what the delta was within the Bunds field. So we've got the flammable fuel, the top event, or the hazard, if you like, coming to the top event of a fuel spill, the initiating event of the tank, and we've got all our various controls, 4, 5, 6, 7, transferring, so that's communications, when we're going to start if we're doing it, monitoring, and we've got our level indicators. Are they working or not? Our fuel level when they're coming, and then we've got our alarm systems. We started off tonight talking about a car and driving our car. Have we got any alarms coming? Have we got high temperature alarms coming? Do we need to do anything about it? And then we go to the high, shut off, shut down, go to place of safety. Now, on the right-hand side of the bow tie is basically the escalation factors. It's firefighting equipment, passive, active fire systems to reduce what's actually happening within it. So what is intended and what's expected? What are some of the things that we think about? And we can do this, as we said before, in many things in life, what's intended, what's expected. So these are the things on the outside here. What happened? The unexpected change to, so we're planning a transfer of fuel. We had an unexpected change of plan. What's the control? Good communications. We've got proactive operator monitoring. The deviation, the delta doesn't monitor it as well. So what do we do from a human factors perspective to ensure this? What is the safety critical nature? What's the procedures and practices? What's our signals to say this is a safety critical activity? What's the probability of failure? And what can we do about it to reduce that to as low as reasonably practicable? And that's done through, as we see, job design and monitoring. Alarms. The delta is it doesn't sensor, it doesn't function. What's our mitigation for that, or control? Maintenance and testing. So we do a maintenance and testing, as we said before, reliability, functionality, availability. And our final barrier we have here is the delta is it doesn't shut off, it doesn't function correctly. Regular maintenance and testing, it all leads in, and it's like our SIL, safety integrity levels, level, all combine up. Combine gives us to our alert safety level. Now, for alarm to be effective, what are some of the things, expectations we're looking for? As we see here, tank level alarm. Fit for purpose, appropriate levels, bang, it attracts attention. And there's an early warning sign within that. And we know if it's not working, there's a delta, there's an alarm that lets us know that this isn't actually happening correctly. So, tank level alarms, and installation correctly, operators are there, they're alert, they're ready to work. They're trained in competence. So what does competence do? And I'll touch on this in a little when we start going at Grenfell. What's about competence, about risk assessment? Do what you do, give it an ample lead time to be able to do that. Operators will report any known faults. You'll fix them, and basically you don't start. If things are not working correctly, we don't start. It's a stop immediately within there. And the human factors in Bundsfield, what happened here? The tank overflow, the fuel spillage that we ended up having here with this massive explosion and impact. There's something about £1 billion of damage within here. So we start off at this end here. Control 1. We had this transfer coming down, the feeds coming in to Bunsfield in itself. It was splitting, going to 2 different tanks. There was an unexpected change to plan. What was that? Virtually doubled the rate. No knowledge, poor communications. What was happening here? Operator monitoring. Oh, back here. Operator doesn't monitor proactively. Do they really understand the safety critical nature of this? How effective have been our arrangements for monitoring? Supervisors relying on alarms to control the filling. And we'll talk a bit about what we call in human factors, performance shaping factors. And there's a bit about looking at, when we're looking at incident investigation, for example, in this one there, we'll look at it from the outside, we'll look at it as we're doing here from hindsight. But the real value within here is getting into the mindset of the people that were involved. What were the performance shaping factors? What was the environment like at that time? So we had here, the supervisor relied on the alarms to control it. The backup was being for our operators. So we had our mechanical systems, our control systems here, tank level alarms. It didn't function properly. How about regular maintenance and testing? And this final one here, we didn't have the deviation, the delta here, it didn't shut off. What had happened, the servo gauge had stuck. It was 3/4 full. There was no movement in it. And even when it changed at this 05:20 in the morning, there's this about designing, was installed without a padlock. You'd be asking, so what's the difference that makes a difference there? Mechanically, the way it was, gravity closed it. It was installed in such a way that you could test it offline. So they've been doing their independent testing, then put it into operational mode, but it stayed in the test mode, which meant it wasn't seeing, it wasn't viewing this high level that's coming off. And we end up with having the fuel spillage in itself. So how about the environment, these performance shaping factors that resulted in all this actually happening within it? Running through all the ones we've got there, I'll just give you a sense of what some of these are within it. And competency, someone who knows what they don't know. Competency both of all staff involved within this, including the manufacture and the build of this. Do people have the necessary skills, experience and training, which we mentioned earlier? Yes, we can have it, but it's having operational training that goes with it. Do we understand the equipment? Do we understand its operating parameters, its safe operating envelope? What's the delta? If it's deviation, what do we need to do about it? Procedures that we're talking about here. There's something that I feel that's really on this is, and we touched on it last week, the last month that we're talking here, we were talking about Texas City. What about the organizational maturity of the organization? Are we a proactive organization? Are we a reactive organization? And my experience, what I've found is the greater level of competency that we have, we lighten up a bit on how detailed the procedures. If it's very, very detailed, there's potential that people will miss steps within it. So written procedures that we've got within there, flow diagrams, system diagrams, process design, looking within there, testing, sorry, my little machine. It's interesting from a human factors perspective we have here. When I'm working here, I'm working with 2 different controls. My mouse gives me the be able to point, but in doing so, it can move on. And I need to come back again within there. Written procedures with good machinery and process design. What is the potential for human failure there? Slips, lapses, mistakes, unintentional behaviors happening. Alarm systems. The alarm system, we had a failure within it, but they put a peg in it later on. Workforce, safety culture mentioned there before. The culture within there, within this particularly, was do, was getting process, getting product through as quickly as possible. And safety had slipped just a little within there. Workforce involved in design, they were never really involved, detailed within it. And shift patterns, long hours. You've probably heard this, no fixed brace, and fatigue was part of the issue within there. And within this was inadequate fault logging. So overall, that's what resulted in this disaster, if you like, happening within there. From that, the lessons learned coming from that, work group studies, health and safety executives were involved in it. And we see some of the things that are within this final report from it. Safety integrity level requirements, what are they? Primary containments with primary, secondary and tertiary. So our secondary systems of buns in that failed as well. The tertiary, the third one, was what was the local environment with it that contained any product that went out. It didn't really contain it. The site was there before really the adjacent sites were built. This was a legacy site, been there for a long while. Engineering against this, the second and tertiary. Operations with high reliability organizations, probability of failure, looking at that. Culture and leadership, that was part of the key lessons coming from that. So I'm conscious of time, I'll move on. And with this impact of having this plume, if you like, and the environmental impact in it, this impact we had in London, and we had a very similar aspect happening with another incident happening in London. And many of you have heard of this, the Grenfell disaster that happened as well. And I see we haven't got the whole bit on the far side here. The key thing of this one happening here, it was all about how did it start? And if we look at it from a major accident hazard perspective, is what are the key lessons? And I'll share how that has moved forward just now. So that was in June, as we see here, 72 people died, and early in the morning, fire broke out in the 4th floor story. And there was problems here. What it had done, it had been on a white goods, it had been a refrigerator. There was a fault inside here, and it had made its way through to the cladding, external cladding, environmental cladding, to improve the thermal capacity of it. There was problems with the standard of fire testing on here and the fire stopping. So it rapidly flared up. So linked into design, and we had basically hundreds of firefighters were involved in getting the control. So what I like to think about here is, as a safety engineer, what do we want to think of? What's some of the things we can think about within here? Potential top events. And if we move forward into the built environment, what are some of the things that we can think of? What are the lessons learned as a safety engineer that we can take forward? So there you go here. And what can we take forward of this actually here? So we've got a UK building safety bill has come out. So we're taking the principles, major accident hazard principles within the built environment just now. So we have a big bill that's coming through, 119 clauses, 8 schedules coming through. But as we started off today, what is the purpose of the chapter here of process safety management. It's all about safety of people, about proving the standards. In this particular major accident hazard site, we'll call it standard of buildings. Life cycle approach to it: conception, feed, front-end engineering design, construction, commissioning, operational use. And this is a new thing coming through, operational use within legislation coming through. We've appointed a building regulator. So I'd like to just run through some of the key principles of this bill that's coming through. It's going through for comment, feedback just now, and will be enacted at the end of the year. And what we're saying is it's applying to what we call higher risk buildings. So it's buildings of more than 18 meters above ground, or where it contains more than 6 stories. It's got, for residential purposes, 2 or more rooms or student accommodation. In the UK, we reckon we could have something like 13,000 buildings initially to be looking at, and 400 or 500 buildings per year. A duty holder, same with the major accident hazard sites. We'll have there appointment of a building safety manager, assessment of risks, a safety case is what we're talking about here, and linking into competency. There are big questions about competency for risk assessment of this building as well. What is your competency as a risk assessor, particularly within the fire world? I'm a past president of the Institution of Fire Engineers in Scotland, and this is a big thing running at the moment, competency of fire engineers, and also building control officers as well. So we've got a safety case reports, and we'll be dealing with operation, inspection, maintenance and management reporting systems, and a duty for insurance for this. And what we also have is engagement and communications with a strategy, same as we do with major accident hazards. What's in the perimeter of the sites that we're working with? How do we communicate with them? How do we give assurance about safety, about people, process, and the safety within there? So that's some of the key aspects coming from the background from Buncefield. Large impact within the London area. We've seen what we've got here just now with the Grenfell accident. And what I'd like to think about just now is the key principle that we're here for is to learn. For me, it's about making things stronger, smarter, and safer. So what I'd like to do, and the last time I was across in person in Kuwait was go to this part just now, is if you'd like to ask any questions, to the best of my ability, I'd like to answer. And there's something else I'd like to think about is we have quite a number of people within the environment just now. So if I don't know, maybe someone else within the group, if you're asking questions, would be able to add to this. So for me, this is what one of the key reasons I'm here speaking with you and sharing with you is we're part of a learning community, part of a learning society. So I pass it over to our moderator. Thank you. Here we go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want me to stop sharing the screen now?
Yeah, I can do it. Thank you very much.
That's good. Thank you. And I'm open for questions, please.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And Ritvik sir, are you there? Okay, any questions can be put on the chat box, or you can open your mic.
All right,
and
I'll see chat box. Okay, yep.
chat is open now. If you have any questions, you can put in the chat box, or you can open your mic. And you can
please
speak.
unmute Ritvik, sir.
Is it? No, he can unmute. It's given
Yeah,
permission.
now, yeah, earlier I was not able to unmute myself.
Oh, sorry, sir.
So, sorry for that. Any question? We can take a few questions at this point of time because we have something in between the two presentations. So we will take a few questions now, and then rest we can have later. So anyone, please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question. Narayan Vasudevan.
What was the
you have-
interlock? Yes, it was. Yes, it was linked to a high, and because the alarm was stuck at 3/3, it didn't go high enough for the high to actuate.
Thank you, Jim. But my question is it the right design? Because you are depending on a failure of a previous safety system to have the next system to work.
The approach nowadays for doing that, or I'll answer the first one. The instrumentation that's now fitted is looking at the back to delta. If there's a large rise in delta, alarm goes and it will fail safe, basically. There was a design issue at that particular time, yes. And we've learned from that. That's part of the learning and moving forward with that. From overfilling, which source started in Bunsfield, the vapor was seen outside and the alarm was raised. There's kind of three areas there was a potential for the ignition source. One was starting of the fire pump. There was also an emergency generator outside, and the closed circuit television had seen some cars passing. So we had a large vapor cloud. So one of three potentially was the ignition source for that.
Normally in hydrocarbon industry, we do want to know in accidents what could be the ignition source.
Yeah.
But most of the time it becomes secondary. The answer what started, well, if you are a practicing engineer in hydrocarbon industry, you know that anything can start. Anything can start.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to control ignition sources by all means and by all mechanism. We spend money. However, trying to find out after an accident that what caused that ignition is sometimes, chasing a ghost. Next question is from Faisal. Faisal
Yes.
F. How audits can help to identify fire hazards in high-rise buildings such as Grenfell?
It's back to the classic ones. What's happening within the UK, particularly just now, is there must be a region of 400 or 500 high-rise buildings that still have this cladding that is a potential for fire hazards. So part of that is looking for potential ignition sources, looking within storage areas, is there anything within there? And there's a thing here about audits. So if we think about, what do we do here, audits. So I was talking about the barrier principle. So we mentioned there before, Mr. Ritwick was saying there, anything can cause it. So we go back. What was the initiating event? How can we actually stop that in its first place? How do we know that the systems are in place? So if we look at it from, I would say, safety critical equipment, what are the systems? What are the structures that make sure? And this particular one in Grenfell, we're looking a bit there. What was the design as appropriate aspects for the cladding and the structure okay? What are the means of escape? How can we make sure that all the means of escape are working okay? In this particular one, there's a big issue globally with white goods at the moment. And white goods working to appropriate standards where they're not going to self-ignite, there's problem there. So it's part of that, looking at that standard. I could speak for a long time in this one. If you want, I can do it offline, but basically it's looking, my way, it's standard way of looking at it is what's your safety critical element, safety critical equipment, and your management system that supports it. And that's what they're looking for now is the new legislation coming in is a responsible person on the building to basically look at that and manage the fire risks on an ongoing daily, weekly, monthly basis. So,
Pawan Kumar, you have some question. Can you unmute and talk? Pawan?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Very good evening.
hello, hi.
Well, sir. Yeah, I'm good. As you said that due to this, there is any underground water damage happened like environment.
Yes.
And apart from that, as you said that root cause, like there is no tank gauge system, automatic tank gauge system. Is there any tank gauge system automatically?
So automatic tanks is that for firefighting equipment?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there was automatic systems and sprinkler systems all installed. But as we know, with the primary shutoff is you stop source, which is basically if the HIP's a high performance isolation valve, if that had stopped, that would have stopped the source. Then we're looking at, yes, there was storage there was systems in place for deluge systems and control. But what they hadn't really considered there was the runoff coming from there, and the runoff get into the actual structure in itself, get into the aquifer that hadn't really been researched or done properly. And
But
that's a lesson learned.
So my question is like, there should be some control of incoming fuel, right?
Yes.
Like tank filling procedure or something like that.
Yeah.
Logging or mother well wall controlling system, something will be there. If this is been failure, automatically the firefighting system has to be updated.
So I'm not quite sure about updating firefighting. It's dropping out slightly, your question.
Pawan, can you write down your question, because you are asking 2-3 questions in one.
Yeah, well, sir, no issues.
One, you are asking about effect on aquifer. Another one, I believe you are asking about automatic tank gauging, whether it was there or it was not there, or if it was there, did it fail? So please, I would suggest that you write down the questions and you can, put in the chat box.
Sure.
Let's go to Daud Khan. What should be our very first step when there is a fire emergency anywhere? And what are the basic safety precautions to be safe? So I think again, 2-3 questions together. Jim, you are the expert.
Oh, this is this is a difficult one. Okay. If we go from a process management side, it's raising alarm and we can go for shutdowns. But let's move forward. Let's talk about Grenfell. And the big problem with Grenfell is the premise within the UK is you've got a large building of multi-levels, and each compartment is considered to be self-containing and safe within its own right. And the principle at the time of Grenfell was stay in place. Policy was stay in place. If there's a fire, stay within there. You're within a box. It's got a certain fire rating capability. You'll be safe. You don't need to. What they didn't want was hundreds of people going down a single staircase with firefighters coming up and banging each other. Unfortunately, in this case, the rapid spread of flame was such, if people had evacuated immediately, a large majority of the people would have escaped okay. But because of the stay in place policy, they remained. and people in the top were phoning, and we've seen some people in the lower levels actually jumped because the fire was impinging upon them. The policy now is, or tends to be, and this is a human factors issue, it's all about fear. And then once you start creating fear, you get a large number of people trying to exit with firefighters coming in, you're into serious problems. It's getting to a place of safety. There's no simple answer to this, I'm afraid. And throughout the UK and worldwide, this is it. Do you stay in place? Do you go? I think most people now with Grenfell, if there's a fire, any fire basically, people are now exiting, getting to a place of safety, to be honest. That's what people are doing, which is going to create quite a problem for firefighters accessing. And what they're looking at now, particularly in Scotland where I live, all new buildings over 6 floors will have to have 2 means of fire escape. They'll need to have 2 stairways. That's the solution just now.
Great. Yeah. So let's keep the rest of the questions for later part of the meeting, because now we need to have the second presentation. I know many of you are still waiting, and for some of you it is getting later in the night. So let's first hear from Rishi.
Where is Rishi's slide?
Abul Efam, let's keep your question for later. Let's hear from, listen from Rishi.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, sir. I know it's getting late, as Mr. Ritvik rightly said. Just a quick look on our ASSP-GCC HSE Excellence Award. This particular award is meant for those companies who are operating in the GCC region. It was initiated in the year 2009. It's almost 12th year. It has become an annual award. So many companies are participating, and the count keeps going as the year passes away. This year, of course, it's a challenging year for everybody. And already we have received a good number of nominations for this particular award. So we'll just quickly go through the award scheme. The theme of this particular HSE Excellence Award is "You Perform, We Recognize." It's an evidence-based award, and the criteria is any organization can apply for 3 awards from a country. That's the criteria we have kept. Ramna, if you can just skip to the next. The major objective is to recognize the company's HSE performance. Next slide, please. Yes, the important slide which speaks about the recognition levels. We got something called Platinum Award for the exemplary performance of the company's HSE statistics submitted for the year 2020. And apart from that Platinum Award, we got Gold, Silver, Bronze, and Merit Award. And there's something unique award which is being given every year. Whosoever gets a Gold Award for 5 consecutive years, they will be awarded with a gold medal. As I said, this Platinum Award was established a few years before. This Debutant Award is to encourage the new companies, whosoever applying for the first time, and there will be a benchmark set. So whosoever crosses the benchmark, the first time appliers, they will be entitled to get this Debutant Award. And now let's just talk about the categories. A company might think, okay, what are the categories ASSP has got to apply for? We've got engineering construction, manufacturing, oil and gas, petrochemicals, facility and maintenance, and sector. Over the past many years, we all the time we receive more applications from the sectors, which is project-based. And not only oil and gas companies, we've been receiving good number of response from other sectors also, like banking sector, food, and manufacturing areas. These are the other awards which we have in this scheme, like CSR Corporate Social Responsibility, Environmental Excellence Award, Management of Driving Safety, Best HSC Initiative Award. This particular Best HSC Initiative Award, this time we are considering the companies who have done good job in COVID-19 activities, or whosoever has done a lot of activities in this particular area, they can apply for this Best HSC Initiative Award. And the adjudication panel will be keeping an eye on those applications. And last in this other awards will be Best Risk Management Award. Next, please. Yeah. So now a company wish to apply for this award. What should they do? They should apply through the online. I mean, it's an online process with their organization profile as well as with their evidences and incident data for preceding 3 years. There were a couple of questions from companies, like what if a company has got only 1 year of operations in GCC area? Still, they can apply because the weightage will be given for 2020 statistics. Apart from that, the application form, which will be the part 3, a self-declaration form, which will be duly signed and stamped by the CEO or the managing director of the particular company. And then along with the application fee of 150 KD. As an environmental saving thing, we encourage only online applications. No offline documents will be accepted. Yeah, next, please.
No, nothing. Go ahead.
You are this thing came, huh?
Who is that?
Yeah. Once a company decides, the step 1 will be submit your interest by email that you're applying for this award. Number 2 will be submitting the application. As I said earlier, it will be online soft copies. And step 3 will be like you will be receiving an acknowledgement from ASSP Kuwait chapter on your submission. Registration fee is $525 or in Kuwaiti dinars 150 KD for first award title, followed by, a company can apply 3 awards. So 150 plus other awards. If they're applying in other awards, it will be 50 KD, which is 175 USD. Earlier, we had kept the last date as 30th of April. During the Ramadan period, the last previous month, due to the shorter working hours, we had to extend this until 30th of May. So basically, the last date of submission will be 30th of May for all the participants, applicants. These are just winners of previous year. Please run through, Ramna. It's just these are the gold winners, silver award winners, and these are the companies who have got awards in other awards category. Obviously, this award has been patronized by Kuwait Petroleum Corporation over the past decade, which is the parent body of oil sector in Kuwait. And it's been endorsed by Board of Certified Safety Professionals, BCSP, supported by IADC, IPAF, WSHA Asia. That's all from my side. We really request there are a lot of participants here. Please try to encourage your management to participate in this prestigious award of ASSP GCC HSC Excellence Award 2021. Mr. Ritwik, over to you if you can just speak a few words on this award program.
Thank you, Rishi, for giving us a brief on what is this award and how important it is. That's very interesting to know that this award motto is you perform and we recognize. With this thought, this award was instituted, and purposely government agencies were kept out of it so that it is encouraging the private sector, the small sector in improving their performance. ASSP is a non-profit organization. It is a purely voluntary organization. And the idea is that we improve the performance of private sector, many a times very small contractors. And that is the reason that over the years, we have been conducting this. So there are 76 participants currently on this platform at this event. And I would expect that each of you, when you get back, you try to, have at least one participation sponsor to this event. This event means this award event, because that is how you can contribute. No one is charging you any money from, by attending this, for attending this process safety event. However, you can contribute back to the profession by encouraging those people, those companies, those contractors to participate in this award program. Because all of us, we look for, we are happy if someone recognizes us, our work, our hard work. Also, many companies, when they hire contractors, when they go to a supplier, when they go down the procurement chain, they are happy. They give credit if they have got a reward, this kind of reward, because this gives them a reason to believe that yes, if suppose this company has got a gold award in HSE from an independent organization like ASSP, they have better trust on this. They think that this has been vetted, the organization has been evaluated, and that is the reason all of you should encourage companies. So I'm quite sure 76 people, 76 new applicants should be there. And that is another reason that the award, unlike many other award program in the region or in the, available across the world, the entry fee has been kept so low because just to cover for the administrative expenses. So that is another reason that you can participate. So go ahead and please encourage others. Now at this point, I would request our next presenter, which is Balaji Lognathan. He is co-founder of Sprittle Software, and we are very eager to listen from him about artificial intelligence, how it can improve safety and productivity in oil and natural gas industries. Balaji, please confine yourself to the topic because we are running short of time. And go ahead. You can share your slides, I believe. Ramanna, can you enable him?
I will
Yes,
share.
Enable.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank you, the Kuwait chapter of ASSP, for giving us an opportunity to present about artificial intelligence and how it can be applied for oil and gas industries. I will try to keep the conversation very short, and I will show you the videos where we have done artificial intelligence for real in real industries. The objective of today's webinar is to make sure that you get some basic information about how artificial intelligence can be applied for oil and gas industries. And I will try to cover the topics mentioned, like how Industry 4.0 and AI can work together the pain points that AI can address, how our solution, the proposed solutions that AI can bring and what our products can bring, some demo and success stories, and if you implement the same in your organization, what would be the return of investment, and finally the question and answers. Just quickly about myself, this is Balaji, and I'm the founder of Surveillance.ai and co-founder of Sprightly Software. And I have more than 18 years of experience in the software development field. And I have worked in United Nations as a software analyst for around 5 years. And I hold a MS degree in computer science from Melbourne, Australia, and a bachelor degree from Annamalai University, Sidambaram. So just quickly, what is artificial intelligence? I'm sure some of you, every one of you already using artificial intelligence in one way or another already. And this has been there since 1950. And right now, some of you might be using your phone to unlock by using face recognition, your fingerprint analysis, and your latest air conditioner, television, all those have built-in artificial intelligence. And our idea is to see how these machines can complement humans to monitor and help us to improve the process at micro level and so that we can have a better operations. The key question here is, we are not going to talk about how artificial intelligence, what are all the basics and so on. The key thing here is, can we make our CCTV cameras at our factories, industries as AI enabled? If we enable it, what are all the benefits and what beautiful solutions we may get? So that's the questions that's the key thing we are going to address today. So the industry 4.0 is the common term that is going around, and there are several ways it is being defined. And in our opinion, industry 4.0 and artificial intelligence goes together, where artificial intelligence can bring the brain behind the machine to help us improve the process. And along with the tools like Internet of Things, IoT devices, and along with PLC integration and robotics or robotic arms and so on, we will be able to give a much better solution where it can provide safety for humans or the people working at the factories, and it can eventually improve the productivity and can also address the quality. So if we put this all together, we will be able to provide a very good solution together. So before I go into this, I just want to show one small video of how things works. So in this video, you can see there is a camera kept over here, and it is watching the forklift movement, and moment the package moment it fell down, it captured those information and gives the details like spotted on 23rd June on floor 01, and this is the second occurrence and so on. So this is one example. Let's go and look at the second example, where a person is working at a factory doing some important activity. You can see like he is not wearing the gloves, helmet, but only the boot. So there is a camera over here that is a normal CCTV camera that is able to capture what really happening. So what it does is it's able to check like the safety helmet, safety goggles, safety gloves are missing, but only the safety boots are detected, and it records the incidents that happened on that day. So this is the basic of this whole application. So a moment before we were mentioning like what can we do if we provide artificial intelligence to our CCTV system, especially that are found in our factories and industries. So this is the key thing we are going to show you today. So I want to show one more video, quick one. You can see that in this video, the person have left to connect the earth wiring cable. Okay, just to quickly replay, the key problem here is this one. The earth wiring cable wasn't connected to the truck. That's the key reason that is illustrated in the video. And we will see how we can address this with the artificial intelligence applied over CCTV in a typical oil and gas industry. So now let me go back to my presentation again. So the key industry pain points that can be addressed with artificial intelligence is untraceable machine efficiency, untraceable human activities. Everywhere, in spite of the automation happening, humans are there, and that's how it should be. The goal of AI is not to remove humans, but to complement humans and make sure safety is protected. And other things like how people, cranes, and forklift movements causes accident and how it can be protected. And then the unquantified manual efforts and performance. Sometimes you all know that we work with both full-time and contract employees, and it's important we be able to measure their performance. And often the machine may go down, and we need to find out why the machine went down, whether it's a manual stoppage or quality stoppage or due to some problem. Leakage and spillage detections can really provide a near-miss accident. I mean, it can lead to near-miss accidents. So how we can avoid those near-miss accidents and the overall material movements and so on. So now let me introduce you to our product called surveillance.ai. It basically makes use of the existing CCTV system and provide various analytics that can help us to provide safety, productivity, and security. So now let me go ahead and show you one important video. I have a request here. These videos are just for our webinar only. So you can see that a petrol tank containing the jet aviation fuel being pulled over. And you can see on the right side here that the earthing cable got connected. So basically what happens here is, let me replay the video again. As soon as the truck reaches the Bay Area, we measure that the truck got reached, and then we were able to measure that with the help of CCTV that the earthing cable got connected, and then the truck lock got opened, and you can see the hose pipe is not yet connected. Now the hose pipe got connected, and then the unloading stuff happens. So we made this video a little faster to show you the entire process that happens in the loading and unloading area. So all this are being done by using simple CCTV camera that is present on the rooftop in the Bay Area 1. Now you can apply this for your factories, oil industries, based on the operations that are applicable to you. So what you see here on the right side is the complete SOP, the standard operating procedure. If something is not done, for example, let's say the earthing cable was not connected, then immediately we can raise an alarm or an audio message saying, please connect the earthing cable, please connect the earthing cable, and so on. So that's the whole part here. So now let me go ahead and show you the next video. So some of you may know that this is another industry in one part of India where we are measuring the entire foundry process. We are checking whether the foundry is being sarged properly, especially the molding area. So we are checking which area is being used, whether the preheated mold is ready or not, who is tapping it, and what time they are tapping, and so on. Apart from this, the key thing here is whether they are wearing the gloves during that operation or not, which is the key thing. So the accident happens, especially when we do the same thing again and again. So that's the problem with the human involved, and we have to have human everywhere to do certain operations. So we check that, and then we check both the safety and productivity here. This is a foundry in Ranipet, which is in one part of India, where we check the complete disarmatic operation. So you can see, like, this is an expensive machine. We are checking why it is being opened, if it is working, how long it is working, if they are opening it, whether they are opening it for quality checking or for the manual stoppage. So this kind of operations we are checking. So this is another example where we check the productivity of a furnace. You can see this is a furnace where okay, the video is hardly visible, but we are able to still measure. So this furnace is idle, it's not sarged, whereas the furnace here is sarged and it is ready. So you can see whether the furnace is being sarged. If sarged, then how many people are standing next to it and how they are using it and so on. So this is also another example in India where we are checking the entire galvanization process. You can see it got like several processes here, like whether the dip started, dip progress, dipping, and so on. And you can see the CCTV video is hardly visible, but still our algorithm and our computer vision detecting technology is able to run properly and detect the process here. So this is another example. I'll just quickly. Okay, so now I will go back to our presentation. I'm looking at the time here and trying to keep things faster. So right now we are working with companies like L&T, TVS Sundaram Fasteners India and China, Rani TRW, Samsung. In Samsung Electronics, their entire process is automatic, but still they wanted to have the cameras over there provide meaningful data, even the automatic process is working properly or not. If the human goes inside, why they are going, for what purpose they are going, and so on. So we may think that a factory that is completely automatic don't need a maintenance or a audit, but it is. So these are all that, and then Romco Siemens and one of the oil and gas company in India. We have just shown the demo videos and certain success stories. Just want to quickly walk through the kind of safety things we can measure, or like PPE compliance, spillage and leakage detections, material transfer SOP, smoke, fire. Mr. Jim illustrated and shown a lot of useful case studies on how certain SOP or the audits must be performed in order to avoid safety issues, especially the fire problem. So we have seen the intention and expectations that he have illustrated. We will be definitely able to integrate that procedures into our artificial intelligence system and measure the entire process. We can measure the productivity, especially like machine stoppage, the overall equipment efficiency, downtime, material movement, and so on. And then from security perspective, I'm sure you all might have witnessed this security things like the camera-based restrictions, and then the camera-based authorization and so on. We can still go ahead and apply the same in a factory where we can restrict the people based on their face, their ID cards, their hat. For example, if someone is wearing a blue cap, blue helmet, if you want to not let them into certain area, then we can raise an alarm and say like, don't go into this area and so on. So those kind of things are possible. So you all might wonder what would be the return of investment when we implement the product surveillance.ai. It can increase the production output because it's being monitored 24/7, and it gives you the real-time data, instant data, and visibility of each assets from the OEE angle. And PPE compliance and SOP compliance is really important, because once the safety is compromised, then you know it leads to lot of loss. So in turn, that is the return of investment when we address it properly. Safety of people, security, and we can reduce the losses, because we have shown you an example where the furnace is being kept idle and surged. When the furnace is surged, if the people are not next to it, then it's a loss, energy loss. So we will be able to raise an alarm to make people go and make use of the surged furnace within few minutes and get things going. And the detection and response system, like also Mr. Jim mentioned, there are certain parameters that need to be detected at the right time so that you can avoid the major accidents. You all know what happened. You all know why the accident happens. The reason at the end will be one very, very small factor. For example, someone might have missed to close the lid properly or check the temperature properly and so on. Because he do that again and again, so the human fatigue may lead to not check it properly. So we will be able to measure it properly. And finally, so that's the overview. I'm considering the time here, and I ran a little fast. I'm sorry. So I'm done with our presentation, and we are open for questions. This is our contact. Thank you, sir. I'm open for questions.
Yeah, I request everyone to put in the questions in chat box, please. Due to the lack of time, we couldn't able to open the mics.
Can you give me video, Ramana, please?
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No,
No.
Ramana,
Yes, yes,
my
yes,
video
please.
is not active. You have
Yeah, please.
disarmed my video. Okay, guys, while I may get my video, in the meantime, do we have some questions to Mr. Loganathan?
You can open your mic, video, sir, now.
Yeah, yes, okay, thank you. So this is to all. If you have any question, you can put in the chat box or raise your hand. That has been a wonderful presentation by Loganathan, and we are happy to know that such forward-looking things are actually being implemented. You know, last few years we have been hearing about this, but after seeing his presentation, it gives us confidence that yes, these things are actually possible. So Ashok, Mr. Ashok Garlapati He is asking, have you done for AI application drilling rigs? Any application you have done, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Loganathan?
Ashok. So we have not done a application for drilling rigs so far. And you have mentioned that you have CCTV cameras in place already. So as you can see from our videos, we are able to measure several different use cases by understanding the existing industrial pain points, by working closely with the experts. We do bring in our own experts, especially the retired people in the oil and gas industries. They advise us on the domain level. We take their inputs and then we provide the AI solutions for them. We look
Good.
forward to working with Mr. Ashok.
Great. Another question from Mr. Faisal is, can we measure car speed and alert the car driver?
Yes, sir. So what we have done for a industry in India is, within the factory, they should not go more than 15 kilometers per hour, and they should not be switching the sides between left and right. So we measure those things and make an alarm. And we, in fact, note the ANPR, the number plate, and create a history when they do so. So it is possible, sir. We have done
Wonderful. Wonderful. Any other question that we have for Mr. Loganathan? Go ahead. You can either type or you can even raise hand, and we will. Mr. Ramana will unmute you. And we are getting compliments also. Thank you, everyone, on behalf of Jim and Balaji. Any question? Any specific query? Okay. While you are thinking, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, very good evening. I want to have only one quick question. Like, if you're doing a surveillance camera, somebody has to monitor it. So why, if surveillance camera is there, somebody has to monitor, then it's be like giving a two tasks for the same activity.
No, sir. Actually, that's the whole purpose. It's completely autonomous. So automatic. So what that means is, it's like a WhatsApp. You will see it only when you get an alert. So when an incident happens, when the SOP is not being followed properly, immediately the supervisor will get an alert on his mobile phone saying this is missing. Until that time, he can do his other jobs. So that's how we have implemented it, sir.
Wonderful. Okay. Another, I think this question was in a way already asked, that for exploration companies or rigs, oil rigs, Mr. G. Vishnu Kumar is asking, sometimes in warehouse, due to sunlight, an alarm persists as siren. How to rectify that? I'm not sure whom he is asking. Next question is Najas Thatakate. He is asking, usual AI used in our CCTV is human motion detector and baby monitoring by capturing sound of baby. So this is not really a question. Yes, a comment. Very good. Thank you. So let's go back to a question which was raised earlier to Jim. I'm going back to that. Abul Ifam, a human error can lead to disasters. My question is, how behaviors can change to avoid human error in respective behavior? Jim, if you can attempt to answer this, please.
That's as we would say in Scotland, that's a cracking question. It's a very good question.
Yes.
But for me, there's something there about a culture and core values. I done a piece of work in the Middle East in a gas plant there, and we were working with core values and the behaviors we see on a daily basis. And that's part of it. What's good, bad, and ugly, basically. And it's behavioral-based safety, it's very similar to that, is if you see behaviors that are inconsistent with the way, with our culture, we're empowered to raise a hand basically and make a difference. I'm curious about the artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence does a lot of marvelous things there. What I'm interested in is, I would call it performance shaping factors. Why do people do what they do? Why do they do behaviors? And a challenge we've had with behavioral-based safety is, as soon as people start, if you've got a culture, a blame culture, you can start hiding a lot. And AI is, it can be great or it could hide things. So that's it. Behavior really, it's your core values, beliefs, the way we do things.
Good, thank you, Jim. Another question from Oais Ali. Maybe many of us may be asking, what should I do if stuck in high-rise building which is on fire from top to bottom?
I love that. I wanted to answer that one because many people thinking about that, and it is a big concern. There's two things to think about there. If you think of your box that you have within there, it's a safe area. It's got safe stairways. First thing I would do if I'm living in a property like that, I would be checking, are all the exit doors, the smoke doors all closed in my exit route? So part of what I would do is make sure I'm living in and it's inspected and maintained. If I'm finding I'm up at the top, there's a fire the whole way. Offshore, we're talking about something called a safe refuge. So your home is built as a box and it should contain for a couple of hours, or your door will could last up to an hour. And if there's any smoke coming in, wet towels, etc. And I would be on the mobile phone with fire and rescue service, where I am, my location and my family. That's probably as best as one can do with that.
Thank you, Jim. Jakula, you asked, Jakula Ramchandran, you had asked, can I speak? Go ahead, it is your time. Jakula Ramchandran, are you still around?
Just a minute, sir, let me.
Can you please unmute Jakula?
He's on 2 devices, that's why I was in confusion.
Yeah, that is a problem that with such meeting and people are with 2 devices, that could create echo or they may not respond to either.
He's not there now, it seems.
Okay, never mind. So let's, since the presentations have taken, I mean, there was so much of interest, we were not able to do one of the activities which we do in these meetings. Anyone who has joined for the first time, would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you, your name, your company, background, why, what made you join this meeting? Go ahead.
Yeah, mic is open for all. You can introduce yourself.
You can unmute yourself and go and, introduce yourself. Anyone? Tadi Chetlu Vinod, is this your first time?
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Muhammad Saeed.
Good evening, Muhammad. Go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, this is my first time. I have attended this meeting in first time, and this was very impressive. I have learned a lot of. And I am feeling missing that I have missed a lot of meetings because last month I have registered, but due to some internet issue, I can't attend that meetings. So I am working here in Iraq with Daching patrolling at drilling rig sites. And very interesting, very learning platforms and very learning community like an ASSP Kuwait chapter. Thank you, everyone.
Good. Thank you for joining this. And what? How did you hear about this?
Sir, I am CSP qualified, and I have seen the post on BCSP page on Facebook.
Wow. Very good. Very good. Dawood, Dawood, can you introduce yourself? I believe you are here for the first time. Dawood Khan. We see your message. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Dawood. Dawood, can
Hi,
you?
sir. I am Dawood Khan from Pakistan. I done my graduation in mechanical engineering, and nowadays I work as a firefighter in Pakistan as a government job. So I can face many difficulties and many cases, major and minor cases regarding to fire emergencies. I also need some guideline through a best expertise which guide me how to improve my career in safety as well as firefighting system.
Very good. And you can, you see, now you have Jim. He is, grandfather of fire. Fire protection,
Yes,
I should say, not fire creating fire.
exactly.
But so you can connect, he can definitely, I'm quite sure he will be happy to mentor you. And that's the purpose of the whole purpose of this, this platform. So welcome, Dawood. I hope you have success in your endeavor. Is there anyone else who wants to introduce himself or herself?
Hello. Hi, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening.
This is Jagdishwar Rao Pinamraju.
Welcome, Jagdishwar Rao.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving to the good opportunity for all of them. This is I'm working here only in KDC in oil rig. So today we are learning the really good stuff, and we are learning what is upcoming technology. So how to implement it in our locations. So thank you all of you, and we are to participating in the event, and the really first time, sir. So I'm very impressed with this meeting, and thank you all of you.
Thank you, Venkateshwara, and hope to see you on our future meetings as well.
Thank you.
There is another message from Joshua. Joshua,
hello,
can you please unmute yourself and
good evening. Hello, good evening. This
Joshua.
is Joshua Uinlui from Nigeria.
Welcome, Joshua.
Yes, sir. This is my first time of joining, and I really appreciate this. It's quite interesting, and I look forward to seeing more, to gain more knowledge here as time goes. Thank you very much.
Great, Joshua. But how did you come to know about this platform or these meetings?
I got that on Facebook. That was HSC Worldwide, being posted by Venkat Ramana. So
good. And did you find this useful?
Yes, quite interesting.
Good. So it is. I would request you to pass on two messages now. One is about the award scheme. I would request Rishi to repeat very briefly once again. But before that, I would another thing is that I would request you to pass on this message to all your colleagues, to all your friends, that they could find some value joining this. It's not too much time investment, but at the same time, it's kind of forced flipping a magazine, an interesting and useful magazine. Many magazines come to us, or many emails come to us, and we don't even give it a second look because it takes so much time to read, effort, etc. However, if we are joining this kind of meeting, the value is, is compounded because someone expert or some learner is explaining to us. Thank you very much, all of you. And I know many of you may have more questions, suggestions, etc. Go ahead and post it or directly write it to, email it. Now, since we are exceeding our time limit, at this point of time, I would request Rishi to talk very briefly once again about the award scheme. If Rishi, you are around. Are you there, Rishi? Or possibly it is too, time is too much for him. Maybe it is midnight sometime. Ramana, possibly you can give a very quick view.
Okay, sir.
Yes, go ahead, Ramana.
Yeah, good evening all once again. We are having this ASSP GCC Excellence Award, and this award is started in the year 2001. Since then, we are having every year we are conducting this award, and the motto is the award scheme. This award scheme is derived to recognize private sector companies for their HSE performance. And we are having these kind of awards: platinum, gold, silver, bronze merit awards. And the platinum award will be given to the highest performed companies.
And can you jump to how we can join this, how we can apply for this?
Yes, so that's better. Yeah. We can, all the information is provided in our website. It is kuwait.assp.org. If you go through, you will be having all the details about this award program in the award scheme. And you can download the brochure, and there is a format is there how to apply. And this is the, if you have any interest, you can go through and put a mail to us, or you can send a message to us through our WhatsApp, so that we can take care of take care of yourself.
So you can provide further support and information how to fill out the form, etc. Right?
Yes, sir.
Great. So again, we request that all of you who are on the meeting, please spread the word around. This is a good award. This is a competitive award. At the same time, this would recognize your hard work and give you a better exposure out in the big world. This may help you also, winning contracts and winning supply chain, etc. So in both commercially as well as, of course, safety and environment wise, you would be a better member to the society. So now we are coming towards the end. I would end with the purpose of this association and with a request that please come forward for the next meeting. What normally we do is that we have two presentations. One is about someone who is, all of us are learning, but someone who wants to experiment with a larger audience. We want to go through some incident, which is, some infamous incidents where authentic data is available, and we can revisit that incident, that look, this is how this incident happened. These were the lessons learned, and we shouldn't be doing it anytime, or etc. So like say we had this Bunsfield incident, or earlier we had the Texas City refinery incident, etc., etc. So come forward, and this is your platform. You speak on that. Also, there is a the second presentation. Normally, we encourage people who want to speak about their failures, their personal failures. That, look, I was engineer in that plant and we opened that valve and then there was this release and we ran away and then there was a kind of a fire. Luckily, somebody did this and this way it was saved, or possibly it was not saved. Yes, I'm lucky to be alive. And however, I would, given the chance, I won't do it again. And please don't do it yourself. So this is the personal learning that we want from, some of you, all of you, sometime in future months. So these two platforms, these two presentations, please come forward. We are not expecting every time to some experts coming from, far off land. We want you to speak. So this is your platform. Come forward. If you are interested, please raise your hand now, or you can always come back to Ramana and, or send an email, send WhatsApp that, look, I want next month, I would like to present on this. Would you do it now? Anyone? Anyone who wants to come forward? I have reserved my $10 note bill here. So anyone who wants to come, please come forward. My purse is open for you. $10 for anyone who is coming forward. Go ahead. It's only 15 minutes that you need to speak. No less, no more. And you don't have to have a PowerPoint presentation. Many part-time people think that we know, they get, that we have to have PowerPoint presentation and it should be flashy and it needs to be so eye-catching, etc., etc. Yes, possibly that is required, but not here. It's not a necessary condition. You don't have to just speak, read something and speak. Or even you don't have to read, just talk about it. That, look, sir, this was, maybe you can, some of you can do it right now. So this is the time. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is very useful for everyone, sir, for recertification and CPD or any other credential improvement also, sir. Right.
This is required. If you are maintaining your professional development, points, you need to have this kind of. Go ahead. We still have some 70 and odd people available on the platform.
Mr. Joshua.
Joshua, you want to speak? Would you like to do it in the month of June?
Yeah, good evening. Well done, sir.
Yeah, Joshua.
Yes, sir. I haven't gotten the real information regards what you are actually talking about. That's why I'm raising my hand for you to come again.
Okay. Let me simplify you. If I have spoken in an unintelligible language, I'm sorry for that. Every month, third Monday, approximately 7 p.m. Kuwait time, we are organizing this meeting. This is organized by something called Process Safety Specialty Group. And the meeting lasts for about 90 minutes. And we have 2 presentations in each meeting. One presentation is about some past incident and revisiting that past infamous incidents. Just now we saw like Buncefield, or we go to Texas City, or we go to, Flixborough, some incident where we have some authentic data available. Another presentation, the presentation number 2, is about some personal failure incident where we have learned personally, or maybe someone very close to us, maybe in our company, or maybe with us, some car accident, some incidents, etc. So that is what I am talking about. What is my request is that please come forward and speak. You need not have, if you have some PowerPoint presentation, use that by all means. If you do not have, you don't have to worry. You can do it without even a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, sir.
So,
The first one requires
next month one of the presentations from you, Joshua.
let me actually plan for the coming month after next month. Let me say July.
Okay, great. So
Yes,
go ahead, and we should have something from you in July. Rakesh Krishna, you have raised your hand.
He sent a message.
Yes.
Are you prepared to speak next month?
He have an internet issue, it seems, but he has put a message in the chat box.
Yeah, please get in touch with him. And Najas Thatakit, he is talking about a professor. He is talking about his professor who would like to, whom he can arrange to speak. Please do so. Let him come forward. We would like to listen from, people, anyone. And especially those who are professors and academia, they may have something much, much more than what we do out here. So let's have him on the, okay. So with this, let's close our meeting. We have come to close to almost, to coming to more than 90 minutes, much more than 90 minutes. I would request Mazhar, if you are there.
Before that, I need one. I will end one.
Yeah, go ahead, Ramana. I will sign off now. I mean, I'm still in the meeting, but I would stop talking now. Over to you, Ramana, to take care of the rest of the proceedings. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Once again, those who have attended, you can participate in this quiz and you can get the certification of participation within a day or two. This is mandatory to get the certificate. And if you have any queries and you have any interest to present in the upcoming sessions, you can send an email to us at info@kuwait.assp.org, or you can send a WhatsApp message to +965 50941075, which is already there everywhere, like in our website you can see, or in the social media you can see. Okay, we are always welcome you for this platform. Yeah, these are the details given in the chat box also. You can save these numbers, you can save this email ID. And
so if you want to have a certificate of participation, certificate of attendance of this meeting, you may like to use that certificate for some CPD, then it's your time. You must participate in the quiz as well. So can you open the quiz, Ramana?
That is there already in the chat. I put in the chat box.
Chat box, the quiz is there. Press the link. It's a Google.
Okay, we can give 2 minutes, and meantime we can open networking of this platform.
Yeah, go ahead. Those who in the meantime would like to post some more questions, because we may take 2 minutes time for the quiz. During that period, some people can also utilize that to put some their post their queries and all that, which people would attempt to respond. Okay, Ramana, are you ready with the response? Or
Sir, meanwhile, if we can.
Yeah, Mazhar,
how are you, sir?
platform is yours now.
Yes, sir.
Stage is yours.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ramanna, for coming to this point. And the first, I would like to thank Mr. Jim for taking time out from busy schedule. Thank you so much, Mr. Jim Bennett. And you honored us today with your presence. It was really wonderful. And really, you have shown us the best way to describe any incident, which is my favorite method of bow tie. And really, it was nicely present and very clear to everybody. Thank you so much once again. And we wish that in future also, we will have a pleasure to have you on board for new topics such as what you have presented today. And next, I would like to thank Mr. Balaji Loganathan. Thank you very much for throwing light on such an futuristic artificial intelligence technology. So we really appreciate Yani having this use of artificial intelligence area in the field of HSE clarified. Really, many people still are not aware how we can include this futuristic technology with HSE, health, safety, and environment. But you have clarified in very simple way with a very useful example, and it is really very good. I wish that this will grow further and we will have use of this kind of technology in all our operations for a betterment of safety as well as process safety. Thank you so much, Mr. Balaji. Ramanna?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. And
results
okay.
are there?
I think results are not mandatory. Since we have given different type of questions, okay, we'll provide the participation of certificate in the due course.
Okay, no problem. So I think our time is just up. So to finish, I would like to say thank you first for Ujjwal sir for leading today as usual, and both speakers for today. Really thank you for your time and the way you have presented and clarified things, and all of you who have attended today for your attention and participation. And with this, I would like to close. But before that, one very important thing I would like to mention here. We have developed a new committee, which is our social media committee. And I can see the results after last year. I think it's a 9 month since we are using this committee. And Alhamdulillah, now earlier our thing was to act locally, but with the help of this committee and the development in Facebook, Twitter, and etc., we are going now globally. So I would like to heartily thankful to all these members of this committee and our president, secretary, treasurer, our office staff, Mr. Ramanna, Riaz, and Mr. Rishi. Thanks for arranging this wonderful session today. Before I finish, I would like to, I think I have finished it, and I would like to say last word. I request Mr. Ashok Galapati to say a few words and finish this event today.
Thank you, Mazhar. Thank you, Ritvik sir. And of course, today's speakers were extraordinary. In fact, we have been in the oil and gas field for quite some time. And, you know, we have become routine. We go and come, but the new technologies, this is an opportunity. We do have a CCTVs in our rigs, but we never thought of integrating artificial intelligence with that. Because on the rig floor, the position of the people is very important. Because we had so many incidents, people who are not in the position, people who are not in a you know, not wearing proper PPE and other things. But I'm sure the Loganathan's information I'll be using more, and of course I'll be contacting them to integrate artificial intelligence in our operations. That's my first task I can take up. And thanks to Mr. Ritvik sir for leading this on a continuous basis without losing his patience. Earlier it was only a Kuwait. Now we are global. I see the people from Nigeria, Pakistan, Iraq, so many people. It's wonderful to see the group is growing global. I like the word global. So thank you very much. And one important thing I want to tell you, the people here, I'm a BCSP director, which is a Board of Certified Safety Professionals. Today, they sent one survey link to me to share with the non-BCSP certification holders. That means I think most of the people who are in the maybe around 60 to 70% are not having a certifications of BCSP in this group. I posted this link in the chat box. Please do participate in that survey. I also recommended to BCSP to give some sort of application fee waivers for the people who are participating in that survey. Thank you very much, Mazhar, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. And we need to change our slogan now, sir, which is given by you. Okay.